everyone, and welcome to another episode of That's Nat. Today on That's Nat, we're doing a little bit of a different kind of video. As you can see from the title, we're going to do a video on the top 3 places to stay at Airbnbs within the North Island here in New Zealand. So I haven't seen a video like this online on YouTube, in the YouTube world anyway, and I thought it'd be a little bit of a different video to do. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I like to create travel vlogs and create vlogs of different places that I'm traveling to around the country, and to showcase the accommodation I'm staying in and then all the attractions and whatever I'm getting up to when I'm going to a new place that I'm visiting. Over the past year and a half or so, I've started staying at more Airbnbs. Airbnb seems to be quite popular in the online booking world now, you know, people renting out their own places for people to come and stay at, and I've stayed at 3 that I've really enjoyed, so I wanted to talk about them today in one little video. I've also stayed at other places around the country that don't fit the Airbnb mold over the past 10 or so years, and I would love to talk about them a little bit more at a later point in time. They're kind of like to do with hotels and motels. I'm just trying to figure out how they would be put together in a video format, but today's videos are Airbnb, North Island, New Zealand, here we go. So in saying that I hadn't seen a video like this online, this video is inspired by a TV show, and if you are into your My Kitchen Rules or any of those reality TV shows in a competition kind of sense, then you may be interested in this TV show, because I had to do a little bit of searching to find it, and I kind of found it by accident. On New Zealand Netflix, their first 2 seasons, I probably should tell you what it's called Instant Hotel, and it's similar to, I guess, My Kitchen Rules, but instead of food and putting the best dish that you've cooked in your home up for judging, it is putting your instant hotel or your Airbnb style accommodation out to a group of people to go stay at, and they judge it based on 4 different criteria. They judge it based on the home itself, the location and attractions, the night's sleep, and the value for money. So 4 different categories there that the people that are staying at this accommodation are judging their stay on. If you want to go watch that TV show, I would give it a thumbs up. I'd give it a good recommendation. It's an Australian TV show, so it's quite similar to New Zealand lifestyle, and you can go watch the first 2 seasons on Netflix, and the 3rd season just came out, and that is over on TVNZ on demand. I personally preferred the 3rd season because it just upped the antes and the stakes of prizes. The winner got $100,000 to put towards their instant hotel to make it that much more extra. So if you're into that kind of thing, I would suggest you go give that a whirl, give it a watch. So when I was picking my top 3 favourite Airbnb accommodations, those are also the 4 categories that I chose to rate my accommodation stay on as well. So that was the home, the location and attractions, the value for money, and the night's sleep. So 4 different things, and I'm really struggling to count with my fingers at the moment, and I'm trying not to flip you off. I will eventually get into talking about these 3 Airbnb accommodations that I've stayed at, but I just wanted to give you a bit of a down low and some also search filters that I like to use when I'm searching for my accommodation for when I'm going to a new place, because there is usually a rhyme and a reason as to why I'm going to a place. It's either because I'm trying to go away for a weekend getaway and I'm wanting some relaxation and to go somewhere new, or I'm actually going there for a reason because I've either got a conference that I'm attending, I'm visiting, you know, family, friends, or I'm going for an ocean swim event. Those are some top 3 reasons that I would be going to a place and why I would be going there as well to visit. I've got a bit of a list here, and I'm just going to read off some of my search filters. My search filters include visiting somewhere new. I try as best I can to go visit somewhere new because that's just exciting in itself. The place has, or the accommodation itself has, a quirky characteristic that just makes it a little bit more fun. So maybe that's in the decor, or just something about the house that's a little bit different to an everyday cottage or weekend getaway accommodation. Depends what we're going to go do, if we're spending more time at the place or if we're wanting to go out and do whatever reason we've gone to go to XYZ for. Depending on how long we're staying at the place for, it ranges from between $25 to $100 a night, and that is per person. Usually when I'm going away, I'm traveling with 2 or 3 or 4 people. Because we're all paying adults, I am lucky I'm able to split the cost between a variety of people, which does make it a little bit easier on the purse string. The place also has to sleep 3 to 4 people as well. 3 to 4 people, and these are separate rooms. Another search filter is to have the whole apartment to ourselves. So on Airbnb there's quite a few different categories that you can have with your sleeping arrangements. So sometimes people rent out just a room in their house, they rent out the top floor of their property, or you can have the entire apartment to yourself as well. There are other categories, but there are several different layers of types of accommodation that you can stay in when you're visiting people's Airbnbs. It might sound a little bit obvious, but it's also making sure that the place is available within the dates that we're wanting to stay. Some people just travel on a whim. I personally don't do that because I have to work around my work schedule, but I guess if you are traveling because you're traveling around the country for X period of time, many months, and you may not have picked something, or some people just enjoy traveling and booking somewhere on the night. I guess people like doing that, but I prefer to have certain dates that we are going away for. And I also like to make sure that there is a kitchen or a kitchenette, somewhere I can make at least some drinks, but also try to make some food as well, just to make it a bit cheaper on the purse strings as well from the food side of things. Also, if we can, it's not super essential, but I like to have self check-in as well. Then that way, if you are not going to arrive at a certain time for the people to meet you there, because not everyone who owns their properties live on site. Sometimes having a self check-in means you can just arrive and turn up because you've already prepaid and sorted out your payment beforehand. You can just take the key out the lockbox and you just go open the property and start enjoying your holiday. That's not super essential, but if you are sometimes new to the area, sometimes it takes a bit of getting to the new place or trying to find where your location is. Sometimes it's not as easy to meet the time requirements of arriving at a certain place when you're trying to be there for a certain time. Don't forget when you're looking in your search results that the fee itself is not always the fee that you're going to pay for the accommodation only. There is sometimes a service fee and a cleaning fee as well, which bumps that price up. So don't take that first price that you see in your search results for face value, because there is usually extras that are on top of that price that you've seen in your search results as well. People get to pick and choose these service fees, cleaning fees, or any other kind of fees that are popped on top of the accommodation fee as well, and sometimes I feel they're worth it for the style accommodation that's available, but sometimes they can be quite expensive for the type of property you're getting, so you just got to weigh it up and what is worth it for you. So let's get into what you actually come here for. The 3 different accommodations that I love on the North Island, here we go. For each property that I'm going to mention, I'm going to eventually give them a score out of 10 for each of those 4 categories that I mentioned before. The first one is called Petra's Cottage, and this is kind of in the middle of the North Island. I'm going to put the exact location on the screen now because it is kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I'll just put some of the specs on the screen now as well so you can see how many people it slept and what kind of size of the accommodation is. When we went away and stayed there, we went with 3 people including myself, and it is $144 a night. That is including all those fees that I mentioned before, so per person that works out to be $48 per night. For the home itself, it is a really cute, characteristic kind of cottage, and it has a lot of wood-like features to it, so if that is your jam, then it'll be totally up your street. I give the home itself an 8 out of 10. There was food on arrival, and more food than you would normally expect than when you arrive at an Airbnb. Food is not always included in the cost, and I think the food that was put on offer at this place was just taking it to the next level, which was really nice to see. They had breakfast supplies, so you know, like eggs, bacon, yogurt, fruit, cereals, all those kind of things, which is really like a lot more than it's expected when you're going to stay at an Airbnb. They had all the usual tea, coffee, amenities, milk to make yourselves a drink. You could easily arrive that night and then have enough to start you off for the next day. The cottage was cozy, the cottage was warm, we had a friendly arrival. People do live on site, but the cottage was at the front of the property. Stuff was set quite a way back and completely away from the cottage and where we were staying, so we didn't have to cross paths too much with the host. This is where we are staying. How freaking cute is that? So we're staying on someone's property, but we get the whole entire cottage to ourselves. This is my first Airbnb booking and it's going really well so far. Let me give you a bit of a tour. I'm going to give you a room tour. I got some clips from yesterday, so I'll pop them in now. This is coming into the living room, and we've got 2 seats over here, and it curves around the corner over here into a single bed in this room. And this is an overview of the cottage down here, looking at the wood burner, and a seat over here, down some steps out to the sitting area deck. We come around over here and up some more stairs, up into the master bedroom. So that is up in the little loft bit down from the lounge, which is where we were before. And we have the master bedroom, then another balcony over here, and through this way, let's put the light on, but we have another single bed. So for a small little cottage, there is a lot of space, to be honest, and a lot of lights. Gonna come back down here, back down the steps, and we'll go through here. So this is a little bathroom, just some more steps, toilet, sink, shower, just what you need, really. And we come down into the kitchen, which is over here. So we've got like the sink and the windows that look out onto the view, so you can look through there, out onto the garden. So like a little fish pond units. So it's everything you can need to make your meals. Eggs have already been had for breakfast. Kettle. What I mean about the kitchen being fully stocked with all these teas. Check them out. Never seen so many teas ever. There's some more. Oh, there's not all, that's biscuits. Spreads for your toast with fresh farm eggs, water, bacon, yogurt, bread and milk. For number 2, it's locations and attractions, and I give this a 6 out of 10. We went and stayed at this place because we were wanting to get away from a lot of things, and we were wanting to stay somewhere new as well. So it is in the middle of nowhere, so you do have to travel to places to get to them. We went and travelled to Hamilton Gardens, and we also went over to the Coromandel for a day trip. That took us quite a while to travel over there, but we just decided that we wanted to go and do that because we hadn't been over to a few places over that side of the country before, and the weather that weekend was absolutely gorgeous, so we wanted to take the most of it whilst we could. The nearest town to go pick up some extra supplies, which you will need to do if you're staying for longer than one night, is this place on the screen now. And they have a supermarket, so you can go pick up some extra bits and bobs and you can cook yourself some meals as you're wanting to do that. The comfort of the night's sleep was a 6 out of 10. And everything was clean and up to a reasonable standard. The single bed that was out in the sleep out, it was still part of the house, but it was just a little like extra room that had been added onto the property, which was fine. You couldn't even really tell it was an extra room that had been added onto the property. Was a little bit drafty because we were starting to go into the autumn / winter time when we went and stayed, and it was a little bit drafty in there. But that's kind of being really quite nitpicky, and it wasn't too much of a problem at all. So value for money, we give it a 7 out of 10 for our rating at the Patches Cottage. It was great because we wanted to be secluded and we wanted to be able to go travel to places if we were wanting to go to. For that trip anyway, we didn't actually plan too much about what we were going to do. So everything locations and activities wise was quite spontaneous, which isn't quite like us at all, but it was good to just go and do something different. And when we came back in the evening from doing our day trips, we were just able to be all nice and cozy and snuggly in the cottage, just watch some TV, just read some books, just manage our own time in our own little way. Manage your own time in our own little way in a country setting. So that rounds off the scores at a 28 out of 40 for Patches Cottage. The next place that I want to talk about is a 3-story pool house in up just past Auckland. It's across the Auckland Harbour Bridge, and it's in Stanmore Bay. So if you remember last Christmas or just before Christmas, December kind of time, I went away and did an ocean swim, and we stayed at this property that was just very colourful in decor. It had a pool, and it was just everything you would kind of need as you were going into your summertime. So we stayed there. There were again 3 of us on this trip, and we stayed there for 2 nights, and it was $135 per night. So for this trip we went away for a specific reason. We were going away for the ocean swim in mind, and we stayed at this place because it was closer, not closest, but closer to where the ocean swim was being held, which was the Omaha Beach. If you know where Stanmore Bay is and you know where Omaha Beach, you'll know not exactly close together, but it was closer than staying in Auckland. So we only had a 40-minute drive to get over to Omaha Beach where the ocean swim was being held, because there wasn't much accommodation that was reasonably priced around the Omaha area, so we decided to stay at Stanmore Bay instead. The house itself is in a residential area, so it's not like a holiday hotspot and you just got everybody living their normal everyday lives that is around this property. You know how I said one of the filters was to have the entire apartment to yourself? Yes, you do get the entire apartment in one of the stories to yourselves. But remember how I said it was 3 stories, so we got all the lower house part of the property to ourselves. Just go down the stairs on the outside of the property and go down into the property. itself, and we just had our own space all to ourselves, and apart from just greeting the hosts on arrival, we didn't see them that much whilst we were there. I give the home itself an 8 out of 10. It is stunningly modern and beautifully decorated on this inside with all these vibrant pool house kind of colours. It's just like a fun place that, not that we did, but if you wanted to, or not that you would because it's not allowed in the rule book, but you could kind of see yourself having like a summer beach party going on there. One of the hosts is an interior decorator, and she does have a little decor shop that's just down the road from where the property is, so you could kind of see where some of the beautiful interior pieces came from. Plenty of room to mooch around and just have your own space if that's what you are after. This is the entrance that you come into the small pool house apartment at, and we have the kitchen over here. Talk about colour room decor goals. I mean, look at that, a Smeg fridge to start with, yellow, blue. This is definitely my aesthetic. So you have little flowers over here, little welcome message. Coming over to the kitchen, little dining area, chill out area, Christmas tree, and I'll take you down the hallway. There's me in the mirror. Hello. Round to bedroom number 1. My sister and I will be in here. So again, vibrant colours on the wall. Just, yeah, the attention to detail is awesome. Apparently the owner of this house also has a design store, which makes sense. And then you've got the togs on the wall. You have the bathroom, so scooting around here, shower, and coming into the second bedroom. And this again is, oh, this is just awesome as well. Like, you've got a lighter colour on the wall, but then the splashes and the pops of colour. And I love this one equally as much. And then you come out here, and I can't open this door for the life of me, but I'll go outside properly, and there is your pools. Talk about pool house goals. Oh, so great. So then we'll zoom outdoors, and here is your relaxing area, pool toys, and pool area also. I told you it was brilliant. I told you it was amazing. I will link down below this accommodation if you're interested in checking it out. And then there's the sea. See, you can't really see the sea very well on camera, but it is over there, over that way. So I give location and attractions a 6 out of 10. It's not the best place for attractions, and it is, as I already said, in a residential area. We went there for a specific reason in mind, as I already said, the ocean swim. But Stanmore Bay Beach is just literally down the road from this house, and you know when you're a local and you just know where all the cute little hotspot places to go are? I feel we really stumbled across this beach, and the beach was huge. We just walked for miles and miles along the beach, and it was a pleasant surprise to find at the bottom of the road for where we were staying. Give the comfort of the night's sleep a 7 out of 10. The beds were so comfortable and just really what you need for a good night's rest. All the blinds or the curtains or whatever they had in each of the rooms all had blackout options on them, so that really made it feel like you're just like switching off and able to have a good night's sleep. There was a little bit of noise from upstairs. The hosts were there at some point in time, which wasn't a problem. It was just merely them walking about upstairs, was obviously what you've got to do when you're living in your house. But yeah, it wasn't too much of a problem, but it's just something to be aware of. Value for money, I give it a 7 out of 10. The pool was brilliant for as we were going into summertime, and especially us being swimmers, we really loved that side of things, so it was a really good selling point on the property. The hosts didn't bother us at all. We just really were allowed to keep to ourselves. So yeah, 2 thumbs up from that point of view. I give the pool house property a 28 out of 40. The last place that I'm wanting to talk about is a place that I have stayed at quite recently, and this was during April of this year, and this was in a spacious loft in downtown Auckland. I'll just read what it says on this bit of paper. It's called Spacious, Quiet, Light-Filled Central Loft. Some of the names on these Airbnb properties absolutely crack me up because they're just so long-winded, but I guess everyone's in a competition with each other to try and see who is going to get the best properties to make the most sales. You know, I get it, but some of these names are a little bit long-winded. The Spacious, Quiet, Light-Filled Central Loft is $168 per night. As I've already said, this includes the service fee and the cleaning fee and any other kind of fees they want to put on top, because when you first search the property at the moment, it's $133. So yeah, prices are changing all the time. Which, staying in central Auckland, if any of you have stayed in central Auckland before, it's super pricey. So if you're staying in central Auckland and the backpacker kind kind of route isn't really for you, then making sure you're going with a group of people where you can split the cost a bit further does help make staying in central Auckland a little bit easier. Being in the loft, the home itself, I give it an 8 out of 10. For Auckland, it has plenty of living space. If you stayed at any places apartment wise in Auckland before, you know space is really tight. You are living in a city at the end of the day. It has a kitchenette, so you can do all your cooking. Actually, it's a bit more than a kitchenette. It has like a stove and microwave, and you can do cooking in the oven if you wanted to as well. It's food left out on arrival, and it's pretty quiet for an Auckland central location. So I'll turn you around. This is the front entrance into the apartment, and we have the bathroom. So I'll show you in here first. I'm trying to actually sort the towels out because one of the rules of the apartment is to, well, I don't say we have to wash the towels before we leave, but it's suggested, so I'm going to do that for them anyway. And then we have the bathroom, which is pretty nice. It's actually pretty big, and that shower was amazing. You'll see me in the mirror. Hello. Yes, still have pajama bottoms on because they're comfy. Toilet, yep, bathroom is great. So then you come in here to the living area. Has this cute as wooden desk. One of the appeals of this apartment was all the wood features. If a place has wood features, it will absolutely draw me in. So then we have a seat, all my stuff everywhere, the dining table, single bed over there, and we also have the living area. See what I mean? Stuff, but just look beyond the stuff. I feel like this is a realistic representation of what people are potentially like when they stay at places. A glorious living area, absolutely stunning. And then we come through over here to the view. See, we're right in the heart of the city, near the Lumley building, Vero building. Yep, just some apartment views. These gorgeous, what are these, like French doors? Not sure on my interiors, but that's, yeah, absolutely beautiful. And we'll come around this way to this area. It's just like knickknacks, keys, whatever you want to put there. Kitchen is a fantastic size. We've been eating breakfast in just to save on the dollars, so muesli has been the go-to, bananas, yogurt, etc. Just all about being a bit more frugal when going away, so you can put your money towards other things. Yep, kitchen is delightful, and this is the piece de resistance of the place. Staircase up to the loft. So we'll come up here. This is definitely what drew me to it. Glorious skylight. There's another one letting all that beautiful light in over there as well. But you can see, can you see anything through there? Not really at the moment, but there's the buildings up there again, and oh, that was taking a while to focus. But around here you can see the master bedroom, which is amazing. The bed was comfortable as, and oh, it's just fantastic. Loved staying here. Everything wanted from a place like this for our little trip. For location and attractions, I give that an 8 out of 10. It is central business district, so if you're not wanting to be like on Queen Street kind of central Auckland, that's what I'm classing as central Auckland. Some of you may class central Auckland as a little bit different, but if you're wanting to be a bit further away from central Queen Street, then it's about 10 minutes walk just to get to anything. But literally, if you just walk down the stairs, walk around the corner, you're a couple of minutes away from the local Mexican, Indian, pizza, those kind of food locations. Then super easy access to food, shops, or anything else you might go and look at. Comfort of the night's sleep, the beds were very comfortable. They're just what you needed for a good night's sleep. The beds were clean, the sheets were clean, everything was just what you would expect to have a comfortable night's sleep. There was plenty of room for an Auckland accommodation, and the only problem we had though, whilst we were there, it absolutely poured it down with rain. I'm not just talking a little bit of rain, this was like flood epic proportions of rain. It was just that the rain was coming in through the roof, and it was coming in through the there's a little skylight, if you can see from my vlog footage clip anyway. That's where the rain was coming in from, and it wasn't like the window was wide open or anything like that. The water was seeping through, but the hosts did make us aware of this, that this did happen when epic proportions of rain came along, because it's in the little guidebook that they leave out for you as one of the things just to be aware of. And there were all these mats seated out. They were the same color as the carpet, so you're kind of thinking, oh okay, they're just mats out. That's why they were there, just to catch all the water. And we did put a few buckets out, like the rubbish bins and stuff, to catch the water, because yeah, there was quite a lot of water seeping through. So It wasn't too much of a problem when it wasn't raining, and if it hadn't have rained at all while we were there, then we wouldn't know anything about it. We did make the hosts aware of it again, just so they knew about the situation needing to be further sorted out, but still, we got the night's sleep. Value for money, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. For a central Auckland location, to get a property at $168 when you break that down between 3 people, or even more if you were able to do that as well. For between 3 people, that's $56 per night. You can't really go wrong with that. It works out to be a 30 out of 40. The loft living ended up being the highest one out of 40, 30 out of 40, with the other two having both 28 out of 40. But even so, I loved all of these properties just as much. I hope you have enjoyed this different kind of video today, and hopefully that gives you some ideas of places to stay if you're wanting to go to those places. Or try and see if you can just amp up your search results when you're trying to find places that you're wanting to go stay at, or give you different ideas for where you might want to go, or add different options into your filtered search, because they'll give you different ideas of where you can go when you're next going on holiday. Give this video a like if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you want to see more travel related videos like this, or travel vlogs. I'm sure I'll have some coming up really soon for you. Let me know in a comment down below if you did enjoy this style of video. I've enjoyed putting something together that's a little bit different for you all today. I will see you next week in another episode of That's Nat. Next week it is July favourites time, and I'm excited for this month's edition. See ya!